Hi, and welcome to my art history discussion video series. My name is Isaac Peterson. I was interested in starting an art history discussion series after seeing various efforts to make art historical topics more appealing to the general public. These shows follow the aesthetics of music videos with rapid pacing, frenetic motion graphics, and jittery jump cuts. The purpose of this approach is to make art history more exciting to a general public that increasingly finds art puzzling or difficult to understand. In considering art history for myself, I realized the egregious flaw in that approach. Visual art, or any other kind of creative practice for that matter, cannot really be reduced down to a simple set of facts made memorable by music video style filmmaking. Art, as well as any creative practice, is so compelling because of its subjectivity. Art is interesting because there is always a field of ambiguity. Art is the product of one person's creativity and the intimate experience they go through with their materials. The creation of art happens on a personal level, and the miracle of art is that it communicates at all, that somehow these ambiguous, intimate objects have this unprecedented capacity for universal resonance. For instance, I happen to love the band Radiohead, and I often wonder how their songs, this intimate product of their combined efforts, speak so directly to my own experience. The answer to that question, in my mind, is that there is some dimension of human experience that is universal, and that art has the miraculous power to enter into this experience. It is through art that we exit Plato's cave. My theory, therefore, is that art speaks the truth. And it is in the ambiguity, it is in the questions posed by art that we find meaning. It is futile to see art as the product of genius, of some higher intelligence so removed from our own that we can never even approach it. This is the disappointment and confusion we feel when we approach a work of genius and find that it is just an ordinary object. We feel that we must be missing something important, that for other people this object must emit some kind of glow that we are not sensitive enough to perceive. But the fact is, these geniuses were just human beings like ourselves. Many of them, like Leonardo, were fraught with incredible doubt, insecurity, and fear. The greatest work of Leonardo's life was a giant bronze statue of a horse. He engineered bizarre new ways to cast bronze which would allow the statue to be created from huge components and then assembled into the largest work of this kind ever made. It was a wonder of engineering. He drafted plans for all the casting mechanisms and made a giant clay scale model of the horse itself. And when the French invaded Milan, the soldiers cut the head off of the clay model and used the body for target practice. Imagine how Leonardo must have felt. He must have felt like a total abject failure, like a total fool. But that story is just to show that he was a human being. He wasn't some kind of otherworldly alien consciousness full of secret knowledge that he was trying to encode into his paintings. If we approach art from the position that it is essentially a human practice, then it becomes the intimate product of an individual's contact with the physical world, and we see the greater power of art. Leonardo's Mona Lisa, for instance, is not a textbook of encoded higher knowledge from a greater consciousness, but an intimate object whose every detail had physical and emotional meaning to the person who made it. In a way, art is the product of touch. The power of the Mona Lisa is not egalitarian in that it disperses a privileged knowledge to those who can interpret it. The power of the Mona Lisa is instead smaller. It's a more personal power. Every surface of that small panel of poplar was touched by another human being, and somehow the resonance of that act still speaks to us through the centuries. Something about what Leonardo made provides us with insight into our own lives. Frankly, giving up the notion of genius is worth the sacrifice. I would rather experience the human truth of Leonardo's work than receiving some egalitarian secret knowledge and code. So that's my position, and what I hope to do in the rest of this series is present you with analyses of some of my favorite works from that position in a way that you can access and interpret, and to show that these pieces are, in fact, the product of a practice that is essentially human, that you can engage in as a human being and participate in. Also, short disclaimer, these films represent my opinion and are only meant to serve as an introduction to the works presented. So your commentary and insights and debate are all appreciated greatly. So I really hope you enjoy it, and wish you the best, and thank you for watching.